Voices drift on winds untamed, words like spells that can't be named. Close your eyes and feel the sound. Journey where no bounds are found. Open doors inside your mind. Leave the ordinary far behind. Colors swirl and stars align. In the meta mysteries you'll find.
Welcome to Meta Mysteries, where you don't know what you don't know. My name's Jonathan.
I'm Sean.
And tonight, our awesome, very special guest is Lord Byron Jester, making his rounds. And it's that time to get a little black magic, a little light magic. It's all the same.
Yeah. Well, it's Walpurgisnacht, so it's it's basically my new year.
Oh, that's
right.
Is that today or that's coming up this weekend?
That's today.
Get out of here.
Yeah, that's right. I think we did schedule it that way. That's perfect. That's perfect. Maybe we can get a little bit into that and kind of see or prepare us for what maybe we should be doing on this day.
Yeah.
Let's go, dude. All right. I know that, so we've actually been, in the same circle here for quite a little while then, because I remember you talking about it a little bit last year too. And then here we go this year. It just so happens to line up on a Wonder Whiz Day. How about those apples?
Yeah.
No accidents.
Hell no, there ain't no accidents. So anyway, look, before we get started, I showed just a couple of people so far, but I kind of want to show off a little bit, Byron. And I think that you haven't seen it yet, I don't think, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay, nope. So there's a new intro. It's still the same song for Meta Mysteries, but I created the intro video. And dude, it is freaking sick.
Dude, that's awesome.
Dude, I love that. That's so good.
Why
was I on the back of the horse? Like, of course.
I mean, I thought it was, you can't tell it what position to put you in or whatever, but at first I was like, it was going to be a little bit more esoteric than that, but ChatGPT has high hopes and you gotta maintain, some kind of idea of it's still kind of newish. So, but just that I was able to get that out of it, I thought, holy shit, this is so cool, right?
Hell yeah, dude. And I definitely couldn't have come up with that, So shout out to AI for hooking us up, dude.
Shout out. Yeah, dude. So then you got Marv in the background on all the cards too.
Yeah, dude.
Let's go.
That tower card was awesome.
Yeah.
I know.
I love it.
Yeah, that was really cool. The devil card was pretty sweet too, I thought.
Yeah, I have to go back and watch those and like pause it, and really observe.
Oh
really
yeah, well, for anybody that is watching this on YouTube or on Patreon, you'll be able to see that intro every single time. So for anybody new here, we have several different ways for people to join and listen and watch. If you want the video on the same day that it comes out on the audio on the Cult of Conspiracy podcast, so we put our audio only out on the Cult of Conspiracy podcast anymore. It's no longer on the Meta Mysteries. We have joined forces. It is one beautiful union over there. And so we're posting over there every Monday and Friday, and also that'll be the same days that it comes out on YouTube. However, if you want to be able to get it the day that it's edited, which is sometimes the night that we shoot or maybe the next morning, depending on how tired everybody is. And so if you want to be able to have access to the shows a couple of days in advance, it's completely commercial free over at Patreon. And you'll be able to join us over at Wonder Whiz Day for the shows like this, anybody listening to this the next day. So yeah, we appreciate all the one here tonight joining us on this conversation. This is going to be a fun one. Anytime we get Lord Byron Jester on the show, dude. I mean,
it gives me a little tingle.
On Walpurgisnacht, dude. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right.
Say less.
Yeah.
So for all the noobs out there, including us, could you describe the significance of Walpurgisnacht for a magician?
Yeah, I mean, it's an old pagan holiday. It's named after some saint, Walpurgis, and who knows like how true the story of that is. But the main reason why I celebrate it was, I think it was, I want to say it was 2017. It could have been 2016. I forget, but it landed on a full moon, and it was like the first time Walpurgis not landed on a full moon in so many years. And so I had everyone at my job write down their name on a piece of paper and what they wanted. And then I did, my normal ritual, and then I put like a little drop of blood on it, and said their name out loud, said what they wanted, burn it, and every single person got what they wanted like really fast. And then so I started doing it every single year, and every single person every single year got what they wanted. So it's that's the main reason why I celebrate it. It's pretty much like the only like witches holiday that I, like I'll try to do magic on the full moon and new moon. I almost never miss the full moon, but the one thing I'm really dogmatic about is Walpurgis not now.
Okay.
So what do you think that is, that it works on that day? Is that because everybody is doing that type of stuff on that day? Do you think that gives it more power? Or what do you think is energizing this thing?
Yeah, there's a couple of kind of stories to it. One is like a Catholic, I think Catholic, but from the church, where it had something to do with like the devil, and the veil was being pretty thin, and the devil would like grant everyone's wishes. So, but I mean, it is Beltane, so that is like when spring is like officially becoming renew, so I mean, we celebrate the return of the solar year on the equinox and Easter, because Easter is the first full moon after, it's the first Sunday after the first full moon after the equinox, which Easter just happened to land on 420 this year. Did you guys celebrate that?
Yeah, a little bit. And 420 is also my mom's birthday. I used to feel really bad about smoking on
Hitler's
her birthday.
birthday.
Columbine, all that shit. Yeah. But I partook in the blessed herb. It was a good time. So just out of curiosity, and by the way, anybody that wants to be able to see that video, there was a video that we created one of the last times that Byron was on the show talking about Walpurgisnacht, and it's like a cool little infographic too. Did you see that one, Byron?
I'm not sure.
Oh, dude, you got to get on that. I think it's like on our Instagram and TikTok, but
Okay.
yeah.
I might have seen it then.
Yeah, it came out really cool. But, you were just saying that every single person, every single time got what they wished for. Can you give us some kind of idea as to like things that they would have wished for, things that you would have tweaked to make it more likely to happen on this night?
Yeah, well, the first thing I had to do was kind of tell them how to ask for it, because a lot of people just don't even know how to want something correctly, like they just, the way they word it, like kind of like law of attraction stuff, where you kind of have like a way of talking that kind of hinders manifestations. But so I had to correct them, a few people on it, but for the most part it was just whatever was relevant in their life. Like, like one person was trying to win a court case, like other people trying to get caught up on bills, other people, like one guy just was looking for a new car, and he wanted a nice car, and you only had so much money. It was stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. And so the money just eventually finds them somehow.
Yeah, well, you don't want to, like, if you want like a car, you don't want to like do magic for the money to get the car. You want to do magic to get the car and just let it manifest however it manifests.
However it does. So not necessarily getting the money, but like maybe somebody that gives you a car or something crazy like that.
Yeah, well, chances are you'll get the money for the car. It'll come like that, but it's just easier that way.
Right.
That's actually similar. That's similar to what Philip Cooper from the Magician was saying. It's that like, if you go and you are performing your ritual, and you're going through the progressions or whatever, if you do it well enough, it doesn't matter what kind of car or what kind of thing it is that you're asking for, or you're trying to manifest. It's like, if you did it well enough, you'll get it. And if you didn't get it, that means you didn't do it well enough. Do you think it's kind of on that wavelength? Like, do you ever blame, like, if somebody doesn't get something, do you ever blame, or if you don't get whatever it is you're trying to manifest, do you just blame it on, I didn't do the spell well enough? Or what do you do with that?
Sometimes it's not in their best interest, and they don't know it yet. So there is that kind of thing going on. But there's also, So sometimes it's better to just put all your energy into one ritual and then immediately forget about it and go about your day. Because as soon as you forget about it, the sooner it manifests. But other times you're going to need to add extra energy to it. So you're going to need to do like some extra workings later on. So it really just depends on the situation, you know. But for the most part, if you can just like put all your emotion, all your energy into it to where you're exhausted afterwards, and then just forget about it as quick as possible, as easy as possible. And that can be kind of tricky, like if it's something important, like if your neck is on the line. Let's take a court case, you know, let's say like someone got a DUI and they're trying to get the charges dropped, you know, that's going to be pretty hard for that person to forget about it, you know. So but yeah, but sometimes you need to put extra energy into it, you know.
Okay. All right. Well, we've done some magic spells here, in the past, but I would love to be able to, start doing a little bit more. We've done the money spells and the love spells. And so what are some other like more traditional kind of spells that are kind of common practice on Walpurgisnacht, or really any kind of full moon kind of situation?
Well, it depends on the person. For me, I usually, that's like where I'm kind of like consolidating everything that I gained throughout this last year, and then I'm writing out all of my goals and plans for the next year and maybe the year after that. So for me, it's like it's almost like a New Year's ritual, you know, where I'm just, and I go over like everything in my petition, like what manifested, what almost manifested, or is like right there but not quite yet there yet, and then so for me, that's a lot of what I do. Some people, you know, like a lot of like the, not all of them, but a lot of the chicks in like the witchcraft community and the Wicca and stuff, a lot of them are kind of just happy to set an intention and just kind of celebrate the season, you know. Like a lot of the traditional witchcraft stuff, a lot of it is just kind of celebrating the seasons.
Okay.
So it really depends on the person for Walpurgisnacht. But like I said, all my coworkers, they had something specific in mind. Where for me, I'm just kind of like writing out a lot of stuff, you know, for like the whole year.
Oh, so you're doing a lot of different kind of spell work, kind of manifestations on this night, not just one or two of them, like for you personally.
Yeah, totally.
Damn.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And so you typically have like really good luck every time, or was it that one year that you were just like batting 1,000?
Every year.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
We might have to start thinking of what we want. You know what I mean? Just let Lord Byron know what's up.
Yeah. I'm thinking about just being like, Byron, you know, I got some shit that I need.
We can do it.
Yeah, dude. Does it matter if it's not a full moon though? Like, because
No,
I don't
it
think tonight's a
doesn't.
full moon.
Like that was the reason why I actually made the effort to do that with all my coworkers and everything, because it was on a full moon. It was a special night. Everyone was talking about it. So I was like, all right, like might as well make a thing out of it. And then I did, and yeah, it worked. Everyone got what they wanted every year, you know, after that.
Yeah, tonight, as of time of recording, is a waxing crescent. So
So it's a good time to get stuff into motion. You know, it's right after the new moon. It's waxing.
It's building up.
Yeah. Good time.
Yeah. And, that's something that I always get a little bit confused, because you hear people saying that they have better results on a new moon or a waxing moon. But then you get other people that are like, no, full moon is the best. In your opinion, like, what is your best moon phase? What do you think gives you, the most of what you're looking for? Which moon phase?
It depends on what you're doing. But I prefer waxing full moon, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I usually have to kind of come up with something to do during a waning moon. You know, so that's usually when I'm doing like kind of more, instead of like for some type of like pragmatic goal, I'm usually trying to figure out like healings and stuff like that,
Preventative maintenance.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, yeah.
Right.
You know, a lot of people will focus on like getting rid of stuff or losing things or baneful work on a waning moon. And a lot of people prefer doing baneful workings on a new moon. But I honestly think the baneful workings are almost better on a full moon than a new moon. But it's just a preference thing.
That actually sounds like it would be better for a full moon kind of thing, because from what I understand, that if I could be totally wrong on this, but from how I've always understood it is that whenever you're trying to practice a spell underneath a full moon, that's the stuff that you're trying to get rid of, and all the other phases are like stuff that you're trying to incorporate and bring to you.
Yeah. So, most people will do on the new moon, like something that, like to begin something. And then on the full moon, it will kind of be like the completion of it,
Oh,
right.
okay.
And if you're doing like planetary magic, some people, because if you work through the planets in ascending order, it's every other day instead of every 5 days. And you're starting with the moon and you're ending on Saturn. So some people like if the new moon lands on like a Monday or close enough to a Monday, so they'll start this kind of working, and they'll work with each planet for whatever goal, for this particular goal. So, like say you're going to start a new business venture, you can start with the moon and then go to Mercury, which is going to be more of like the mercantile communication aspect of it. And then, go up to Venus, which is going to bring people together and connections, and,
Okay.
Mars will be like protecting it or something, so it just depends on the person, because some people don't even really work with spirits or do a lot of planetary magic. Some people will just kind of do spells where they just kind of mix some herbs together and, that kind of stuff. Like kind of like what you guys did with your, it's kind of what you guys did with your little, with the bay leaf, with the tarot cards. And, some people will just do that kind of stuff, and it works for them, Like, I had a coworker, and, I helped him get a DUI dropped, and it worked. He totally got it dropped. But he started kind of doing just regular chaos magic sigils. And so he didn't really care about like having a magical practice, the growth and evolution aspect. But whenever something happened, he would just make a sigil, and every single time it worked. And so those basic chaos magic sigils work really well if you just want to do that, So I mean, there's so many different ways to make stuff happen. It just depends. Once you get the ball going, certain things are going to resonate more with you than others, and you'll just kind of develop your own practice. And that's one of the things that makes it kind of hard to start learning this stuff, because everyone has a different practice,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and
And I
that's
think a lot of it has to do with the level of acceptance. How much are you willing to accept? Are you willing to accept that you can speak some words into the universe, and then all of a sudden you're going to just get a car somehow, or the money to purchase a new, nicer car? And if you accept that that's going to be something that you can do, then it'll probably work. But if you don't accept it, then maybe you have to do a little more. You have to make offerings, or you have to light more candles, or whatever it is. I think that's probably how that works.
And that's something that's going to happen over time. Like after you start getting good results after a few years, like when I was doing magic for everyone at the bar, like after a couple of years, I knew that every time I do something, I knew that I was going to get results, and that made it so much easier to get, awesome results. So, that's a big hurdle for a lot of people, is not trusting themselves, not trusting the magic, or being too emotionally attached to the outcome. But once you get to the point to where like I'll just do magic and it'll all work out.
Yeah. At that point, you're just riding the flow. Forget about it and just go with the flow, and just know that it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say too. It's almost more than a what is the term? It's more than just believing that it's going to happen, though, right? Because typically, whenever you're doing this, you're seeing it in your mind. And so that way, whenever it does happen, it's not necessarily like a shock and awe kind of thing, because it's almost familiar because you sat with it, inside of your meditation. Do you do that?
I do meditations and stuff. So like a lot of times I'll do my magic first. Well, I mean, I do like warm up meditations first, to kind of activate all my energy centers, get into a magical state of mind, activate your psychic faculties. Then I'll do my magic. Usually I'll make like an offering first, and then I'll do an evocation, or sometimes I'll do the other way around. But at the end, I'll do like this kind of contemplative meditation where I'm just kind of meditating on what I was doing and kind of paying attention to any type of downloads or messages from any type of spirits coming through. And yeah, it's fun.
Hell yeah, dude.
I imagine it's kind of like when you find out that your spell or your manifestation, like it all worked out, and you know, you finally get the thing or whatever. You see it play out. It's kind of like when you see like the most impossible synchronicity. You know, like you know that these things happen, but when it does happen, you're like, you're not surprised, but at the same time, you're still in some type of awe. Like,
Yeah.
wow, like, how is this happening?
You know, I've gotten so used to it, but there are still times where I'm like, dang, I can't believe I just did that. You know? So,
Right.
It is pretty cool. You're like a fucking real life wizard over there, dude.
No
yeah,
shit.
but anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. You know, this is just part of the human experience, you know? It's part of just being a part of creation. Everyone has this ability to do it.
It's
I
the
love
divine right, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think magic is the part of us that's the closest attached to the creator, you know?
Right. That's where it comes from.
Oh yeah, that's
Because some people would say that this is demonic. You know what I mean? Like, and that just kind of bothers me because I feel like, why does it always have to go towards the most negative thing you can think of?
Oh, you can use it for some evil ass shit, man. I mean, you know?
Damn it, Byron.
I just sold 3 war machines this month, you know? So,
Oh,
you know.
oh wow, it's about to go down.
Yeah, for someone. But
Yeah. So just to get over the chat here just for a second, Mama Slaney said you should print them for a tarot deck.
that was such a good idea.
That is in the works. Yeah. And so all I did so far was just go through the major arcana. And then, of course, you got to go through the cups and the wands and all that other fun jazz. That's going to take me a few days.
Several days of arguing with Marv AI.
Yeah, right. Dude, I couldn't tell you how many times I had to remind Marv that you had a beard. It kept on wanting to give you like a bald face. I think I actually just kept it as a bald face. I was like, I'm not fucking with this right now. Like, it was just taking forever. But yeah, that is the goal. And we've been kind of saying that ever since the beginning, that we wanted to create a tarot deck. And this could be the first. And also, I found a website, and for anybody else that is interested, if you want to create your own tarot deck, dude, check this out. There's a website that actually, and I'm pretty sure there's probably multiple of them, but there's this website called makeplayingcards.com if you want to go and make a deck. Now, obviously, the more decks you get, the cheaper it's going to be. So the price for this one, if you just get 1 to 5 decks, it's $26 a deck. But then whenever you start going down into like 100 to 100 decks, then they're only $14.80. 500 decks is only $10 like each. So it'd be, $5,000. So obviously if you're trying to mass produce something, then it's always going to be cheaper anyway. But it is still pretty damn cool, dude. I think that's like an awesome birthday or Christmas present idea for anybody that, is involved in tarot.
Oh yeah, that would be great. I feel like we should at least get each of us should at least get one of those, so when we do our tarot, dude, that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
I would love one of those.
Oh, dude, and for the one to be able to be out there. I mean, imagine this. We all have Meta Mysteries tarot decks, and we're all drawing a card on the Wonder Wiz Day live shows and just give one big-ass spread, dude.
Put a story together. Hell
yeah. Like a 10-card spread. Just get real weird.
That'd be sick, dude.
But yeah, and so Britt said, I think the cards are pretty cool, but kind of looks like 2 gay dudes together. Ain't gonna lie. Yes, I know. Look, there's only so much you can do, really. Like, whenever it comes to stuff like this, yes, it kind of look a little Brokeback Mountain-esque on the, we're both on the horse there.
It's the horse one that does it for me, but it's hilarious, and that's why I love it.
It's the symbolism. Hey, at least I didn't have us naked in any of them, because there was a couple options where we could have gone naked, and I was like, nah, we got to keep that covered up there.
Like the sun card or the lover's card or whatever.
Yeah.
It shows like 2 naked people running. I forget which one it is.
Yeah. And it actually, at first, whenever it created the lover's card, it made me and Sean as the lovers. And I was like, fuck no, dude, I'm not doing that. Like, nothing against gay people out there, but I like chicks. Right. Sean's married to a woman. Right. And so
I wonder if you were chasing me or was I chasing you in that card?
I think we were just feverishly looking into each other's soul.
Frolicking together as one.
Oh, man, whatever. And Nick said the lover card cracked me up. Yeah. I think it's still pretty sweet, though. Maybe we'll tweak it a little bit here and there, but that's round one of it. And then Taylor said, yes, group pull card. That's a great idea. I think that we should be, we'll see if we can make that happen one of these nights. Yeah, I think that'd be really awesome.
That'd be great.
All right. So before we go any further, I kind of wanted to dive into this website that I had found, and it gets into, do you say Walpurgisnacht or Wellpurgisnacht?
I think you're supposed to pronounce the W like a V, Walpurgisnacht, but I think that's just kind of, doesn't matter. Well, I say Walpurgisnacht.
Yeah, I mean, I got German in me, but I ain't all the way German. You know what I mean?
I ain't going that far.
Yeah. So, I'll take a Wiener Schnitzel, but that's about it. But it says, Walpurgisnacht, the Night of the Witches. And just to dive into it a little bit more, it says cold winds rattle still naked tree branches. The edges of dark and foreboding clouds are aglow in the moonlight. Doors are locked and windows are shuttered. Terrified eyes can scan the skies, expecting legions of witches atop their brooms to suddenly burst from the tree line. It's a frightening vision. Yet, despite how it sounds, it's not about Halloween. It's April 30th, Walpurgisnacht night, translated from German, from Walpurgisnacht, or however the Germans would say it, or Hexenacht. Oh, is that something that you've heard of, Hexenacht, before, Byron?
Yeah, Witches' Night, Night of the Witches, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, it says to the layperson, it's simply called the Night of the Witches. So that's tonight. So I guess it starts ancient Norse origins. I don't know if it starts here, but that's the first one they bring up. So Walpurgisnacht originally was a Norse/Viking ritual practiced thousands of years ago in Northern Europe and Scandinavia. After the long winter, prayers were offered to expedite the coming of spring and ensure fertility for livestock and crops. People would hang bundles of foliage around their property to ward off evil spirits. Offerings of mead and food were left for the spirits of the dead, which they believed walked the earth that night. Fires would burn all through the night, and families would gather in warded places until the morning. This practice was nearly identical to actions taking place on Samhain, which ironically is exactly 6 months opposite Walpurgisnacht on the calendar. Damn, we're exactly 6 months away from Halloween, both ways.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I guess that is right, huh? Okay. So, as it happened with most pagan traditions, the introduction of Christianity either eliminated or changed the actual meaning of the gathering. There was a distortion of the core celebration, furthered by an eventual hijacking altogether, including changing the name. This ritual of the spring, there are no records of what the Vikings called this celebration prior to the Christianized term, morphed into celebration of a Catholic saint, Saint Walpurga. She was a nun from the Heidenheim Monastery in Württemberg, Germany, who died in 779.
Heidenheim means house of the heathens.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
A nun from the house of heathens?
That's what the area was called. I think she was trying to convert.
Oh, okay. So Walpurga was later canonized a saint by Pope Adrian II on May 1st, 870. The day her mortal remains were moved to Eichstätt, the seat of the Catholic diocese. At Eichstätt, her bones were placed in a rocky niche. This niche allegedly began to exude a miraculously therapeutic oil, which solidified her sainthood in the eyes of the believers. Whoa, that is strange. Her name has many translations, including Valborg, Walpurgis, Weldberg, and Valderberg. Many of these coincide with some of the other cultures which still celebrate the holiday in earnest. Walpurga was a healer and known for speaking out against witchcraft and sorcery during her living years. As a saint, Walpurga was the advocate for coughs, famine, plague, and storms. As the influence of the church grew, the traditional festivals intermingled with the Christian celebrations, and the hybrid holiday became known as Valborgsmastafon, or Walpurgisnacht. So then there was German influences. It says the Brocken, also known as Blocksberg, is the highest mountain peak of the Harz Range in northern Germany. Although not tall by alpine standards, the peak stays very cold and is shrouded by mist and fog most of the time. The surrounding land is inhospitable with gnarly trees and strange moss-covered rock formations. Some of them have been given foreboding names such as Devil's Pulpit or Witch's Altar. The Brocken has always played a prominent role in German legends, especially those stories which were associated with witches, witchcraft, and even the devil. On Walpurgisnacht, according to writings from the 16th and 17th century, witches were purported to hold a large gathering. According to some accounts, it was the last chance for several months to create trouble before spring arrived to renew and reawaken the land. Witches from all around were purported to gather and engage in a highly sexual, debaucherously magical rite.
Oh.
Let's go, dude. You going to an orgy tonight, Byron?
You're going to put me in the doghouse.
A little sex magic up in here? Okay.
Yeah, which I like to call a vag match.
Vag match. Yes.
Hey, we don't judge, dude. You know.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So it says the people who lived around the mountain were in fear of the unknown rituals. They would perform many actions to ward themselves and their property from the witches' nefarious intentions. Bonfires would be lit. Sprigs of greenery from trees such as the ash, hawthorn, juniper, and elder, along with other talismans, would be hung at the corners of the buildings and on fences. Some people would even sprinkle holy water around. Additionally, people would make noise, lots of noise. The idea that loud noises kept evil away dates back for centuries, and on Walpurgisnacht, villagers would bang drums, ring bells, shout, sing, and even clap wood blocks together as a way to keep the witches away. Many practitioners of the magical arts believe that Walpurgisnacht is more than just a time of ritual spell work. It's considered a day that equals Samhain, when the barrier between the worlds is thin and easily crossed. Witches and sorcerers were more powerful on this night than any other night except for Samhain. The night would be filled with ghosts of the dead, fairies, shapeshifters, lesser demons, and all sorts of feral beasts. It was nothing short of a nightmare in ancient times, and people were terrified by all sorts of what-ifs. Why they got to go all scary, you know? I mean, Byron, that's your people, bro. Why? I mean, I can imagine that this is probably from a religious perspective, maybe, and that's why they're looking at it in that manner, right?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of witches that get their hands dirty too, and that's something that, you know, a lot of the magic community will kind of bash on the church for persecuting them, but at the same time, you know, there is a lot of evil sorcery that goes on. Quote unquote evil sorcery, you know, I don't consider it, you know.
It just is.
Yeah, you know, I mean, here's the thing, you know, like most people get into magic because they want to get laid, they want to get paid, or they want revenge. You know, like those are big things, and the thing is like even though revenge is like the darker aspect of that, it's also kind of the more important, because, you know, if you go and ask like 20 different chicks for a phone number, you're going to hook up eventually. You know, if you send out, you know, 100 resumes, 20, 30, 40 resumes, you're going to get a new job. You know, if you ask for a promotion and you work hard, you'll probably get a promotion and a raise, you know, but when it comes to revenge, there's no real way to do it without going to jail or risk going to jail. And the police aren't here to help you. So what do you do at that point?
Well, you got to do something that leaves no track. And they're obviously not going to be like, it was Lord Byron Jester. He was performing baneful magic. Lock his ass up. Like
We found the traces in the ether.
Yeah. So, you know, it's one of those things like, because, you know, I mean, witches and sorcerers and magicians, I mean, we are dangerous people. I mean, that's just a fact, you know. So
yeah, dude. Yeah. And a lot of people don't even believe in it. So they're even more unsuspecting.
Those are the easiest people to destroy. Yeah, totally. You know,
Easiest people to destroy.
Like a religious person you know, like a religious person has some defense, you know, and if they're like really devout, you know, and they're really hardcore in their beliefs, and they immerse themselves in prayer and like meditate on the scriptures, those people are going to be a lot more difficult than like a nihilistic atheist, you know.
Right.
Well, yeah, that makes sense because
force field.
there's absolutely no guard for an atheist at that point if they don't even they don't believe in anything.
And some of them already live destructive lives anyway. You look at some of those like Antifa types, like they live destructive lives. A lot of them are doing drugs. A lot of them are already bad people. Like some of the guys that got arrested in those riots were like pedophiles and stuff. So, you can usually tell by someone's aura, if it's going to be easy or not. But even if they have spiritual protection, if I throw them in a vampire box for like a week, I mean, there goes a lot of their
chance.
There goes a lot of their defenses, and then once you launch an attack, since their aura is already dark and drained so much, it's like really absorbent. So when you attack them, their aura just sucks it right up. So there's a way around anything,
Yeah, I got this fucking gnat in my room that just is bothering me. Byron, did you send a spell over here to just... What's going on, dude?
No, man. Maybe
You're in the vampire box as we speak.
Yeah, might be.
Yeah, the vampire box, I mean, especially when you start learning how to use thought forms and doing the automatic drawing style of thought forms that I talk about. I wonder if I got one up here so I can show people. I don't think I have. Oh, I do. Okay. But it's basically just like automatic drawing like that.
Okay.
It's kind of a scribble. You just hold on to a thought. I'll like summon a spirit or whatever first and do that. But when you get good at that technique, vampire box is it's pretty brutal weapon.
Really?
But you don't have to just use it as a weapon. You can use it for protection. Because you can create a thought form that sucks in any type of like magical attack heading your way, and then it goes through the filter, gets stripped clean, and then that energy goes to another thought form that destroys whoever attacked you in the first place.
Okay. Well,
But you can also use it for like wealth and all sorts of stuff. But when you get good at that thought form technique, I mean, it's an amazing technique. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it.
Dude, and I've seen people do that stuff, just online or on TV or something like that. I think there's a famous like psychic, this gay dude. I can't remember what his name is, but that's what he does. He'll learn about the person that he's going to go give a psychic reading to, and it's just scribbling on a piece of paper, and that's how the information's coming to him. Oh. And as a matter of fact, we just had psychic Shannon on the show last week for the last live show, and she does something similar. However, she's not scribbling on a pad with a pen. She just is like vomiting words, and she goes, if I stop talking, I start to lose the connection, and so that's why she just keeps on talking and talking and talking, and eventually what is supposed to be heard is heard, and that's the psychic way. I don't know. Yeah, everybody has their own way.
Rounding out the logical mind. You're not overthinking the words. It's just whatever comes to mind, you just throw it out there because maybe someone needs to hear it.
That's a pretty cool sounding technique. That seems like a good way to learn how to channel.
Yeah, actually, just yesterday, I think it was, because my wife and I will play this game where I'll be like, hey, think of a number 1 to 10. And like, as soon as she says, all right, I got the number, whatever number I'm thinking about right then, I just say it instead of going, maybe it's not that. Let me pick this number instead. Like whatever number it was, boom. And I was right 2 times in a row, dude. So might be something to it.
Let's go, dude. Yeah, it's just about just trying to connect to whatever frequency is coming to you. And you probably, if you were to just sit there and meditate and clear your mind and then play that game, I bet you the statistical odds would go up, right?
I would think so.
Because you would be aware of...
The more you do it, the better you're going to get, especially if you're doing it like every day, every week. If it's like consistent practice, yeah, you'll get good at it.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. So let's get back to the article. The Brocken Spectre. True believers point to one topic most often as evidence of the gatherings. It is the story of the Brocken Spectre. It is a strange phenomenon often observed in mountainous regions. Even though modern weather science claims it is a natural occurrence, some are still skeptical. Regardless, people seeing the vision centuries ago would have been completely unsettled. The mountain is almost always shrouded in a misty fog. Water droplets are suspended in the air, and sunlight reflects through them much differently than in other places. If someone was observing another person higher up the mountain with the sun behind them, that person will appear to have a rainbow halo surrounding their shadow. Whoa, look at that picture. I didn't know what the hell we were looking at until just now. Look how cool that is.
That's cool. So water droplets are suspended in air. So
Dude,
it's not fog, it's like a mist.
So check this out, dude. One time, my stepbrother and I, we went hiking up Pine and Cedar Lake. It's like in Whatcom County, Washington. It's just right outside of Bellingham. And so we're walking up. It's a really steep mountain. So we're walking up there, and all of a sudden it starts raining. I'm like, oh, that's kind of nice. So you get used to doing everything in the rain in Washington,
Yeah, I bet.
So we're walking up, and all of a sudden, like, the rain's not falling anymore. It's suspended in the air, right? And it's just kind of a mist. And then as we get up to the top of the mountain, those mists turn into little ice crystals. It was frozen because it's like March, right? And then so these little ice crystals are suspended in the air everywhere. And then you can move your hand like this, and they just go right behind it. It was like the most surreal thing ever, man. It was like one of those 1 in a million hikes where, you get to experience something like that.
Oh, dude.
Mystical as fuck.
It was awesome.
I can't wait to start doing that, dude. I talked about how I'm going to be converting. I'm not going to be living in a house. I'm not going to be living in an apartment. I'm going to buy an RV, and it's going to be, a decent size RV, nothing huge or anything, because I'm kind of scared to drive that big shit. But it's like the one I'm looking at is like a 22, 23 footer or something like that. It has, a couple beds. It has the kitchen table and the shower and everything that you'd need, toilet and all that stuff. And it just for my situation with having 2 kids in 2 states, it just sounds like the best option, really. But I'm really excited for it because it's going to warrant going out and spending more time in nature. Just with bouncing back and forth and also just living in an RV like that, dude. And that's some of the most fascinating like videos you can find on social media, like TikTok or YouTube, is like people who are living like the motorhome life or the RV life. You save so much money. You're not paying a rent. Obviously, they're way cheaper than buying a house and stuff like that. And I know like a lot of older people, they have dreams of wanting to do that one day and stuff like that. And I'm like, fuck it, I don't even want to wait until I'm old to experience that. That just sounds too awesome. And so I was looking into like everything that all of the people that are doing that full time to see like what they typically do. And dude, there's so many different like national parks and stuff like that you can go to. But they have I just recently learned what boondocking meant, and which it's basically you just go out in the middle of nowhere where there's no water hookup or no sewer hookup or anything. Like just go out in the desert. Like Breaking Bad style in the RV out there, right. And you're just in nature and there's nothing around you and you're completely in like some kind of solitude. It's going to vary where you choose to stay at and stuff. But I just thought like that would be the best place to go out in the middle of nowhere and just meditate. You know what I'm saying? Like go out there in the middle of nowhere, do a little bit of moon magic. Let's get weird up in here, dude.
Right. Hell yeah, dude. Well, tell Byron about it. Maybe he can make that RV happen for you. Like with
dude. Out here in the desert, it's a trip on a full moon because there's not a bunch of trees and everything. Like the whole outside is just lit up, and you can see for like miles. On a full moon at night. It's crazy.
I would love that. Yeah, I would definitely love that. So yeah, that might be my Walpurgisnacht wish tonight, Byron.
And then when you have too much solitude, you can always like just drive somewhere where there's more people. Instead of just being kind of stuck in a cabin in the woods. Right. You can just drive to civilization again if you want.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of communities with that. Yeah, it seems like a really cool community. It's like the Jeep cult. You know what I mean? Like, It's a full-on cult. The people that drive Jeeps and love Jeeps, they got their little duckies and everything.
They all wave to each other all the time. Yeah.
Do they really?
Yeah, every time they drive past, they wave. Yeah. Same with this motorcycle guys.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. So anyhow, it says, additionally, their shadow will appear much larger than usual, which gives it a spooky, almost supernatural appearance. Talking about this rainbow shadow. Anyone unaware of another person on the mountain would see this as a ghostly apparition, a dark figure with an unholy light spilling forth from what like their unnatural body. That's a strange sentence. Okay. Anyway, it says fear would have quickly taken over them, and they might overestimate the size and shape of the site. By the time they shared the vision, the shadow could likely have become a fearsome beast sent by the witches to guard the mountain. So
Ooh.
Brock and Spectre, that's where, it's allegedly has been documented there, these gatherings for Walpurgisnacht. So then it gets into the Walpurgisnacht traditions around the world. It says today throughout Europe and the United States, Walpurgis Night is still celebrated. One common tradition seen everywhere is a bonfire. It was considered good luck to burn anything no longer useful on Walpurgisnacht fires. In many cultures, small scarecrow-looking dolls are made during the day and ritually imbued with all the bad luck and ill will of the past year. They are then tossed on the Walpurgis bonfires that night along with worn-out, burnable household items. Also, the arts of the cunning women or wise women of the forest were especially potent during this time. Their magic often revolved around love, sexuality, and fertility. In Sweden, it seems as if the entire nation is ablaze to celebrate Valborg. Across the country, citizens gather around massive community bonfires to sing welcoming songs to spring. As the night goes on, there will be drinking, dancing, and even fireworks. One old custom, though no longer popular, would send the children into the woods to collect branches of greenery to decorate the village houses. Then it goes on, it talks about in Finland and Germany and Bavaria, Estonia, here we go. In America, many neo-pagans gravitate towards celebrating Beltane rather than Walpurgisnacht. It has a broader meaning and is more adaptable to non-witch audiences. There are still some covens who use Walpurgisnacht for serious spell work or other magical rites. Are you holding it down over there then, Byron?
Dude. You know what I find interesting is that, with all the witchcraft stuff that we've looked into and the Magician and all this, it took us to meet Byron to even find out this holiday. I feel like we never would even found out about this day if it wasn't for Byron.
Right, right. Yeah.
Like when you're ready, the teacher will come.
I believe that.
Allowed us into this realm.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. I mean, dude, Byron, you have just been coming on the show teaching us so many awesome things over the past year and a half, 2 years now. And I'm thankful for you, dude. So, I mean, all the information, you are a full-on, just magical wizard, and we're just trying to be the sponges and soak up all that good spiritual magic. So then it gets into Walpurgisnacht and Beltane. Many modern neo-pagans have confused Walpurgis with Beltane, likely due to their proximity on the calendar. They share many similar customs, but there are distinct differences between the two. Beltane is a Celtic festival held on the 1st of May to celebrate the beginnings of summer and the opening of the pastures to livestock. Walpurgisnacht is Germanic and occurs the night before Beltane. And while Beltane has kept its original focus, Walpurgis has morphed into a witchy occasion, which is ironic since it was originally focused on driving witches and their influences away. Taking it back. Okay. So, all right. Pretty sweet. The conclusion. It says, witches have been feared for as long as witches have existed, usually for the wrong reasons, but nevertheless feared. The so-called witch gatherings on the mountain were likely people who refused to relinquish their old ways and submit to the yoke of Christianity. They probably chose the location due to its remoteness to avoid persecution. The church made no secrets about their goals of destroying all of the ancient beliefs. History shows that they would often merge an old belief with one of theirs. Over time, the old parts would be abandoned, allowing the church versions to dominate. What's amazing about Walpurgisnacht is that instead of making a pagan holiday Christian, the church made it more pagan than ever. So this April 30th, get your witch on. All right.
Get your witch on, dude.
Get your witch on.
It's a power struggle. I think that's what it is when you realize that these witches are doing things and they seem to have some sort of power to them. You know what I mean? Of course, the church is probably going to have a little something to say about that.
I feel like they probably don't really. Do you think that there's as much religious persecution against witches nowadays? I feel like you don't really hear about it too much, Byron.
In Islam, they will absolutely kill you.
Oh, Islam's a different story.
Yeah, and that's what's funny, that so many of the more left-leaning people are somehow like pro-Islam. It's like, dude, yeah, like there was this one Muslim dude on TikTok, and his wife was wearing the burqa and hijab, and she had a whiteboard tied around her neck with a little marker because she wasn't even allowed to talk to him. If she wanted to ask him what he wanted for dinner, she had to write it on the whiteboard and ask him.
Oh my
you know, and he was
God.
like stoked. He was like bragging about it. He's like,
Yeah, that's full on slavery, bro. Come on.
yeah, you know,
You
I
know.
mean, it is what it is. You know, I
And
mean,
that's
every
isn't that
culture has their issues. You know,
right,
so
right. And that's the problem with certain religions is that it's so far from being spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost
yeah,
like they created a religion and somehow eluded the spiritual part, the spiritual aspect of it. Obviously, there's going to be religions that are more spiritual than others, but yeah, I feel that is that's not what God intended. I can imagine, right?
yeah, you know, I'm pretty sure. You
That
know,
is just nuts.
and it's all three religions. You know, like because right now, you know, people are calling out the Talmud because you know they're you know because of Israel's onslaught on Palestine, and other people are calling you know conservatives are calling out Sharia law and stuff, and it's the same thing. You know, like everything that's in Sharia law can be found in the Talmud. You know, so
Oh, dude, I find myself more and more just, people will ask what side you're on or, what do you think is right? I'm like, dude, I don't even want to be involved in those kind of conversations because they're ugly on both sides. You know what I'm saying? There's no good guys out of any of this. There's definitely some crazier people than others. I will admit that. Some people take things to the absolute extreme, and that's
that's
really
with
on both
everything.
ends. Right,
That's with everything.
that's really on both ends, and that's with everything. But yeah, it's become a very extreme world, and the amount of people that have like just let their lives be consumed by politics and world politics. It's like, I'm not trying to, diminish the value of how much, everybody's vote counts. But at a certain point, like, that's all you can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have one vote. And why let the news and politics consume you all year or for 4 years or whatever, just to, you only have one proof of your vote. That's it.
yeah.
And so I don't
Yeah,
know.
you know, like old school pro wrestling is like the perfect metaphor and microcosm for American politics and culture, you know, because you take someone like Trump, like half the country thinks looks at him as like a heel. Well, in the world of pro wrestling, the heel is almost more important than the baby face. The baby face is only important if the heel can get enough heat. So like it doesn't matter if the crowd loves you or if they hate you. It's the same thing in pro wrestling.
Oh yeah, it
Holy
takes a really
shit.
good heel to let the baby face shine.
And
There's no
then,
doubt about
like
that.
like everything's predetermined. It doesn't mean the consequences aren't real. When Mankind got thrown off 20 feet off the top of the Hell in the Cell through the table, the consequences of that were very real. He could have killed himself doing that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if Stone Cold wins the belt or if The Rock wins the belt, because at the end of the day, Vince McMahon is the one who wins.
Right. At the end of the
Yes.
day, he still created magic, in that arena.
Right, right. And I think that speaks volumes in and of itself. The babyface and the heel of wrestling are still kind of being pushed in a specific direction by the people that are calling the matches or the people who are, basically trying to lay out the storyline of whatever character arc is going on. And
strange.
that's a good analogy for how I see politics. It's like,
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you're left or you're right, there's a whole like rogue branch that is really in control of the whole thing anyway.
And there's a lot of people that aren't even voting because they like a candidate. They're voting against the other candidate,
So
And then,
silly.
like some heels in pro wrestling are so likable that the people just end up loving them. They end up becoming babyface, but they're not like a clean babyface. They're like a dirty babyface, like
Oh, yeah.
Stone Cold, Rowdy Piper. Like they're not exactly good guys, but the crowd loves them.
Oh, The Undertaker all day.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah, dude. So, yeah, very strange kind of stuff. But anyway, let's get back over to WALPURGISNACHT. Just because I want to be able to try and do this tonight. This is possibly Sean. Are you gonna try and perform a spell tonight, dude? I mean, the veil is at its.
I think I'm gonna have to, and I'm gonna have to tell my wife to get up in on this too, because I think she's a little tapped in. You know what I'm saying? More than she would even admit. I think so. So I'm gonna have to get her to do a little something too. Maybe just write something down. at the very least.
So Byron, if you could, I mean, what is some kind of basic ritual that people would be able to do on a night like this? Like something to where maybe they don't have all of the tools, or the zombie box or vampire box or anything like that. With like household items, let's just say, what would be a good way for somebody just dipping their toes into Walpurgisnacht? What would be, the direction you'd push them in?
Well, if you're going to do what I'm doing, you might want to write out some of your goals for the year, but if you're going to focus on like a specific thing or a couple specific things and you have no experience with magic, probably the best thing to do is a chaos magic sigil. And you can learn how to do them in 10 minutes. There's a million videos on YouTube. Just watch like 4 or 5 videos. Once you get it down, and then just charge the hell out of it, burn it, laugh like a crazy person and forget about it.
Laugh like a crazy person. Why is that?
Yeah, some people like the laughter afterwards because it helps it manifest better.
Like Dr. Evil laugh?
No, I mean just like laughing for no reason. It kind of makes you look crazy.
Oh, like maniacally laughing.
More lighthearted.
Yeah, it makes it lighthearted. It makes it easier to forget. For people that are in relationships, you can do some sex magic and charge the sigil.
Fuck yeah.
Where do you place this sigil?
Well, you could put it right on the headboard, and then I guess just to get kind of vulgar, if you're going like doggy or something, you could be charging it. If it's like a cowgirl position, she could be charging it.
Okay, but it's all I know that.
That's a good question.
I recently
and then,
just
take the fluids after you're done, cover the sigil in it. Run it over the incense smoke.
Oh my god!
Let it kind of dry, burn it. That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, wow! I didn't know it went that deep. Literally.
Yeah.
Of course it does.
Yeah, a lot of there's a lot of biologicals when it comes to magic. Sometimes.
Life force, baby.
Yeah, I use a lot less now that I have radionics and I have a bunch of radionics machines, but I don't use blood nearly as much, but sometimes I still do.
So, since we're on the topic, would sexual fluids be more potent than blood?
Well, ideally you can do both or one or the other. Yeah, because the act of sex, there's a lot of energy going on. Then you have both polarities in it, but if you're talking like a couple drops of blood, yeah, sex fluids is probably going to be more potent. But blood is really potent. I mean, even just a couple of drops, before I even prick myself, just getting like a diabetic lancet, I'm just going to use a few drops of blood, just grabbing the lancet and getting ready to do it. You can feel the environment just kind of getting excited,
The environment's like, oh shit.
Yeah,
well,
you can feel the spirits in the room just going, oh yeah, here we go, daddy.
Well, and for anybody who doesn't want to dive into blood magic because, like it or not, there's a lot of like negativity attached to blood magic, which I can't imagine there's less negativity attached to sex magic. But
well, I mean, sex is like a loving act if you're in a committed relationship, right. So it is different,
I guess
with like a diabetic lancet, it doesn't leave a mark. It doesn't hurt. It's just a few drops,
So it's either a few drops of blood or a shot glass of some baby batter is really what we're talking about here.
Yeah, totally. But so it just depends. But the idea is that to make a sigil, and while you're making the sigil, really think about what you're asking for. So like if you're gonna, like, I don't know, like a new job or a raise or a promotion or car or maybe just to have an awesome year all year, and to accomplish, like maybe you can write your goals out on a piece of paper and then write your sigil to accomplish all of your goals as long as they serve your higher purpose, because you might make a mistake in there. And then charge that sigil, just charge the hell out of it before you destroy it and then forget about it.
And how are you charging it? Or like crystal charging, spell casting? You can
literally just stare at it. There was one radionics practitioner, Uncle Chucky, Charles Cosimano, and he started charging sigils with a flashlight and focusing his intent through the flashlight, like a metal flashlight, into the sigil, It's almost like a tepaphone at that point.
So
And
what, you
then
have the sigil, like let's say I have
you
the
want to put it in
sigil,
a circle, like like this, you know. You want to put
right?
it in a circle because the circle will help concentrate the energy inside of it.
So you'd put the flashlight to the back of the sigil like that, or directly on the front of it?
Directly in front of it while you're staring at it. Pow! You know, charging the flashlight while you're staring at it.
Okay, so
Focusing on it.
you're not covering up the sigil with the flashlight. You're still able to see it. It's just shining the light onto the sigil.
Yeah, totally. And that's if you want to do it that way. But you can just stare at it until there's so much energy in there to where like the sigil starts like dancing around and kind of hallucinating a little bit and starts doing weird stuff. You can almost scry into it at that point. But yeah, put it in a circle. I use the largemouth mason jar lids to draw my circle. You know,
Right.
Okay.
But yeah, because the circle will concentrate that energy a lot more, and then burn it, destroy it. But like I said, you know, you could do like a sex magic. You can charge it, throw a couple drops of blood on it after you're done charging it, then burn it, whatever.
So hypothetically,
there's so many different ways to do it. You know, and for people that haven't done it before, it's one of those things. So I would just watch, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos on sigil magic on how to make basic sigils, and then from there, just figure out what you're going to do.
all right. I'm sure anybody that's just tuning into Meta Mysteries for the first time tonight, they're like,
God,
these people, shun them to hell.
blasphemy.
But no,
Well,
it's
you
just
know,
really
Makes
out of
sense, though,
curiosity.
as far as because we know our brains will have like about on average 60,000 thoughts a day, and so most of those you're not even able to recall. It's just happening at like light speed, and so if you're holding one singular thought being the thing that you want to manifest, and you're holding that energy and telling your brain, I only want to think of this one thing, and you're concentrating into the sigil for, I don't know, a minute, 5 minutes, whatever it is. I mean, that sounds like it would be very powerful. The power of your mind just going straight into that thing.
And have that
Yeah.
synced up with a flashlight or, a flame from a candle. Like candle magic
Right.
says to do the same thing, stare into the flame of the candle. And sometimes you can even put the sigil as like a backdrop to the candle itself. I've seen people doing.
Yeah,
And
you can totally do that. Yeah.
And staring into the candle, dude, we already know what that's like. After a little bit, that flame of that candle starts to almost look holographic. It almost like it's like you lose your depth perception or something like that, and so it really just kind of locks you in.
Yeah, it does, big time. And also on top of that, it starts to get a little crazy because while you're doing the candle magic, and that's something that I've tried to make like a common practice. Even if I'm just doing a regular tarot pull for myself, I'll meditate into the flame first and then do the tarot pull. If I'm really like seeking like high powered guidance kind of stuff, and you can if you use the flame from if you got to make sure that your AC is not going to come on, your ceiling fan's not going to come on, you're in a meditated state, which means your breathing is going to be a lot slower and less deep breaths and everything. But if you're just staring into it and you're breathing like you have like one breath every 8 seconds or whatever, like if you get super meditated and you're staring into it, that fucking flame will start to dance. And it's like it's almost inexplainable. It's like the people that are doing the telekinesis. Have you been seeing like people do the people just using their chi to move things? Like that's kind of crazy shit there too. But
Yeah,
I think that
it's
there's
crazy how the flame will sometimes it'll like bounce and it'll start like dancing or something. It's almost like, am I doing that? You know what I mean? Like it definitely feels like there's a connection happening.
Yeah, the more energy you put into a candle, especially like because I mentioned how I program vigil candles with radionics, and when I do that, especially like if I program them for like 2 weeks instead of 1 week, I mean the flame just dances around, does all this crazy stuff inside the glass jar. But it's really important to let people know the purpose of a sigil is so what you're really doing is you're putting your intent into a symbol and you're bypassing your conscious mind and programming it into your subconscious mind to allow it to manifest a lot faster.
yeah.
So that's an important detail about that.
Oh yeah, and for anybody that doesn't know how to make a sigil, we've done an episode on it before, and we created our own sigils and stuff like that. There's many of different ways to create sigils. Some people take out the double letters, or they'll take out the vowels, and everybody has their own way. I don't think you don't take out the vowels whenever you're making a sigil, do you, Byron?
It depends. I'll just kind of put the vowels on the side and the main letters, and do it. But like this sigil right here is for a servitor, and when I make a sigil for a servitor, I usually just channel it.
Oh, okay. So you just let it happen.
Yeah, I just channel it like I did with yours.
Right,
I just channeled it. But yeah, with the Chaos Magic Sigil, yeah, I recommend just doing the ones with the letters. You take out the repeating letters, take out the vowels. But like I said, I'll sometimes kind of keep the vowels off to the side, and I might incorporate them, I might not, because you're going to go through a few iterations of it, maybe even 10 iterations of it. I like to reduce my sigils down as much as possible to where it's a really simple design. But there's there's a 1,000 ways to dodge, I mean,
right. And look at any logo of any major corporation. It's usually very dumbed down, and I think they did that on purpose.
Yeah. Well, the Bluetooth symbol is a bind rune.
It's a rune, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a bind rune, which is a sigil. A bind rune is when you combine 2 or more runes together to make a sigil.
Right.
Dude, they've been doing this shit for forever. And actually,
so you can also do that. You if you're into runes, you can combine a couple of runes together for your manifestation. Or maybe you can write it out in Hebrew letters and then make a sigil out of the Hebrew. There's a million things you can do.
And dude, you know what? I don't remember, Sean. I think we did this on a show a couple of months ago, but basically we created a new sigil. I think it was after a meditation or something like that, where we did a meditation and we were trying to get in touch with who our spirit guides were or something like that. And whoever came to us in that meditation, we were going to make a sigil out of whatever their names were. And so I ended up making one. I still have it right here, but it's my grandparents, actually. I don't know if you can even see that. There you go.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a perfect circle. It's more of a fucking square, to be honest with you. But
It doesn't matter because a small piece of paper like that's going to be really easy to burn.
Right. Okay, so all right, this is so cool, dude.
The real purpose of the circle, because there's been a lot of kind of misconceptions and I guess misinformation, about it. Because there was a while there where a lot of people thought the circle was bad because it's blocking the magic in. But what the circle is really doing is just makes it easier to concentrate the energy right into it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still charge. I could take this thought form right here and then charge it just the same. It might take a little bit longer. And by a little bit longer, it's just a couple of minutes, but.
Right.
So
kind of the same purpose of using is it athame and directing your force to whatever it is you're trying to direct it to.
Well, yeah, or a wand or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's right. I actually do have a
Or
wand
you could
here.
use a radionics machine and empower it too.
Oh shit.
Is that selenite?
Yeah, it's a little selenite wand.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought it whenever I was still over at Christie's studio. I was always buying crystal shit from her, just being around it all the time.
Yeah, I got a bunch of selenite up here because I always use selenite with my radionics to purify whatever I'm about ready to use before I do it. So I'll just run it on selenite the day before, and then put my intent, dial my rate later on.
And selenite's pretty cheap too.
Super cheap, and it's strong.
Right.
There was a guy on TikTok that took pictures of stuff with the Dionysian goggles, and selenite had a pretty strong aura to it, and so did organite, but a lot of organite has selenite in it.
Oh, you mean the Dicyanin goggles?
Yeah. I got some little organite right here too, just laying around.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I got a little one too. Shout out to Isaac, giving us all of that organite.
So when I make organite too, I'll take the quartz crystals and the quartz sand or whatever I'm using, and I'll program it with radionics and lock it in. So then when that resin hardens, you get that piezoelectric effect. And then because it's locked in, that program is not going to retard at all. It'll stay nice and strong. So then, so this one I think is coiled to pull from the back to the front. So anything that goes through it, that it's basically going to act as a carrier wave for that magic that I programmed it with.
Oh, nice, dude! It's been a minute. We should get Isaac back on the show. He's the man.
Yeah, dude.
He made us some just for the show. He made us some Orgonite things.
Is that the guy in Oregon?
Yeah, it's Oregon-ite, his website.
Yeah, that's a brilliant little thing. I like that,
dude.
Yeah. So he created for me and Sean these Orgonite things. And Sean, what was yours again?
Oh, it was the flower of life that he made for me. It was like the all the circles and all that, dude. It was. Let me see,
dude. Check this out.
I think I have it right here.
He made the Ankh for me. How sick is
dude,
that?
That's dope.
Yeah.
Where did he get that mold at? Did he get that specially made?
Yeah, he actually had to like special order the mold for that. But he was telling me about that when he was making that for Jonathan. I was like, oh shit, because we just did the Ankh episode. And then like he messaged me the next day and he's like, look, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna surprise him. And yeah, dude, come on.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's an awesome mold. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I have a couple of product launches going out. In fact, I'll hit him up and see if he wants to come on and talk about it. But I'm making a couple of special radionics machines. Hang on just one second. I'll go grab it real quick. Not the machine, but what I'm doing with it.
Okay. All right. Dude, Sean, are you going to be doing this shit tonight, dude? Because I'm all in.
Yeah, dude, of course I am. Of course. I feel like I've got no other option.
Yeah. I think we should definitely, maybe like he's saying, just write out a list of whatever it is that you're planning for the future or things that, you're really trying to attract to you. Write that down and then maybe create a sigil from those things collectively. And then, stare into the candle flame, meditate on it, imprint that sigil into your subconscious mind and then burn it and just let it go.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder what color candle would you suggest, Byron?
I was going to ask that. Yeah, good question.
Well, it depends on what you're doing. Since it's Wednesday, that's for the planet Mercury, which is my favorite planet to work with. I actually have a Mercury talisman right here that I'm wearing. As he has a little symbol. It's oxidized silver.
So you'd want to, is that a red candle then? It'd
be orange, but it doesn't matter. The important thing is just doing it, yeah, perfect, right. Okay, so check this out. So I made these orgone style crystals. I wrapped the crystals in here, made the orgone with a bunch of quartz sand, and this one's grounded. It has a little bit of iron and graphite in it. These are actually a special blend that one of my colleagues kind of created. I'm not sure if he would want me to go into too much detail about it, but he calls it alchemite because it has the three basic ingredients for alchemy, salt, sulfur, and mercury.
Okay.
But if you see the wire sticking out, so all of my potentiometers in these machines have these wired in them instead of just a regular crystal. And man, when I plugged it in and tested the signal, I already knew it was going to work awesome, but it worked noticeably better than even I thought it was going to. These are gonna pack a punch.
So those are like speaker wires, like the same wires that would come from a speaker.
Yeah, but they're wrapped in here with a crystal, Okay. So, yeah. And there's two different versions. One, I don't want to go into too much detail because we haven't launched it yet. But
so
it's going to be fire.
Fire. So do you actually hook those wires up to the machine?
Yeah, each dial gets a crystal, but this particular machine, those crystals are encased in alchemite.
Alchemite. What a cool ass word too.
Yeah, and these are, like I said, man, it's strong. It's super strong. And I got a couple other products we're going to be launching here pretty soon too. But I'm kind of stoked about this one.
All right, yeah, I have to look into that one. So, all right, let's get. I want to talk a little bit more about this Walpurgisnacht because I want to make sure that we're doing this right tonight. So,
Okay.
do you like whenever you're performing a rite or a ritual on this night? Do you want to absolutely make sure that you're outside for this? And does it matter if you can see the moon? Maybe it's overcast, or maybe it's hidden behind the house, or something like that. Does it like what are the details about how you do it?
That all depends. For me, I do the bulk of it inside, and then I'll go outside for part of it. And that's when I'll like burn my last year's petition. My set of goals for last year. I'll burn that, and then come back in and reset my other one. So I do both, but like in this room right here, I have an altar right here. I have a couple altars. It goes right out to the outside in my backyard to the fire pit. So for me, staying in this room and then going right out and coming back in is pretty easy. But it depends on, because some people don't even have like a proper place to do magic. Some people will have like an altar inside of a closet, or just an end table. So it all depends on what the important thing is just working with what you have and just doing it. Just don't make any excuses, because you can put stuff off forever waiting for when you have everything right. The important thing is just doing it.
Right. So I guess, would it maybe make it a little bit more powerful if you couldn't go outside, maybe do it next to a window? Or
maybe, sometimes I like indoors because it's such a stronger concentration of energy, but so I'll also program like, if I have a bunch of moonshine, I'll just use moonshine. But my fermentation bucket's broken. I got to go get a new one. I got to make some more new moonshine. But so what I got the habit of doing, I have like this like little kind of flat flask. It's for like real organic maple syrup, like straight tapped from a maple syrup tree. It's like the perfect size. So I'll make some really strong tea, just like regular like black tea. And when I'm boiling the water, I put a little bit of salt and a little bit of Epsom salt into it, just to kind of act as a preservative and let it hold more charge. And so I'll program that too. So I'll start my ritual inside, and then I'll take my old petition, go outside. I'll light some candles outside, light some incense outside. I'll burn my petition, and then I'll pour the tea as a libation. And since it's programmed with so much radionics energy, it's just as good as moonshine or anything else, because that's so much energy in it. And then I'll go back inside.
You're pouring the tea onto the ground?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for like all the earth spirits and everything. And then I'll come inside and bless my new petition and kind of consecrate it, speak it out loud, light some more offerings, some candles, some more incense, put my lodestone on top of it, and bada bing, bada boom. But I usually summon spirits first, but for people that are just getting started, you don't really have to. The sigil will do pretty good, and the petition, stash the petition somewhere, put it in an envelope where it's not gonna, So
that petition, you're writing out everything that you want to manifest throughout the year, and then at the end of the year,
a list of goals, basically, like a list of goals, yeah.
And then at the end of the year, when Walpurgisnacht arises again, then you burn that one because now you have a new one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But that's just what I do. For people just getting started, that might be too complicated just to get started. I would just set one goal, one intention, keep it more simple than keep it kind of simple, and just make a sigil, charge it any way you can. You can just stare at it. You can use candles. Like I said, Uncle Chucky used the flashlight. You can do sex magic. You could use a couple of drops of blood, but charge the hell out of it, burn it, and then forget about it.
Okay.
But try to put yourself in a magical state of mind first. Don't just start doing the sigil. You want to kind of start getting immersed into do a meditation,
pretty much how you feel after meditating.
Right.
Yeah. That one meditation that we did the last time we did an interview, that's a perfect meditation to do it because you're already calling on angels and elemental spirits and activating these energy centers in your body. clean your aura, and then you do your sigil and have those spirits help you, and then light some candles and incense as like part of an offering. Yeah, that I mean that
Right. And that was the pillar, right? The pillar meditation.
Yeah, where I basically took the lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, and combined it with the middle pillar.
Right.
Yeah. Which episode was that?
That was like a month ago. Yeah, like a month and a half, 2 months ago, something like that, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that was the one with El the Alchemist on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was about a month.
Right.
So for people that are listening, if you go back through the catalog and find the interview that you guys did with El the Alchemist, at the end of that interview, there's that meditation at the end, and that'll, if you do that before you make your sigil, I mean, you're going to hit a bullseye. I'll almost guarantee it, unless you're asking for something like ridiculous, like to become best friends with Godzilla or something. To have Godzilla carry to school in his hand.
Right.
But you never know, though.
You never know. Might happen.
Yeah,
that would have been rad, though. How cool would that be?
Well, it would probably just manifest itself into like a tiny form of like a little green animal, those little lizards.
Oh yeah, little like long-tailed skink or grass skink shows up or something. Yeah,
you're like, great. I shall name you Godzilla then.
Totally.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we got a pretty good idea about how to perform these rituals, this ritual tonight. And so basically from the article, do you also believe that this is as powerful of a night as Halloween as far as the veils being thin like that for ritual use?
I actually kind of think it's more. So here's the thing: I'm a Taurus, you're a Taurus. It's so like Walpurgisnacht is like right before my birthday. So it's kind of like my New Year's before my birthday, which is also like a New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
So but I think there is, there's a lot of energy and everything going into the winter and everything dying and the energy becoming more stale and more, like that. But I almost think Walpurgisnacht is stronger, just because that's when everything's exploding with life and exploding with energy, and the sun is working its way back to the Tropic of Cancer, so it's more electric too. And
that makes sense. I mean, your birthday's, is it May 10th or May 12th or something like that?
The 16th. And was yours the 10th or the 9th?
8th, actually.
The 8th, yeah, okay.
Ocho de Mayo, baby. So all right. Well, I guess that would be, a good time to look at it then. And also, I would have to imagine if less people know about this night than Halloween or Samhain or something like that, then maybe it's a little bit more powerful because all the energy is not being used up, or something. Could you look at it that way maybe? Or do you think more people performing rituals on a specific night heightens it?
You see, that's kind of hard to say, because there is a thought form involved when it comes to like a lot of people believing in something. I think that's why like angels and demons are so powerful. Especially demons, because there's that fear component attached to them. Because that's like the main religion is Christianity. Like everyone believes in these entities to such a strong extent, and then and also because a lot of people work with them more than other spirits. So there does seem to be a potency there. But I would say Walpurgisnacht, the people that are celebrating Walpurgisnacht are doing like real work, where like a lot of the people that are celebrating Halloween are just kind of partying and that kind of stuff. So.
Oh, good point. All right. Well, I guess, I think that we have a decent idea about what to do tonight. I'm sure that this is everybody's, if not mostly everybody's, first night really diving into Walpurgisnacht and certain rituals that you may want to manifest. But like he said, use an orange candle, draw a sigil, write out whatever it is, and just stick to one, right? Like you're not trying to pull out like 10 unmanifested ideas that you want to come true. You just want to focus on one for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the person, because like you can write out a whole list of goals and then do the sigil just to help everything manifest, but for some people that might be too complicated for their first time. So the important thing is just doing something. Just doing it, and if easier is better, then And a lot of times easier is better. Like, that's one thing I have found out, that the easier something is, a lot of times the better it is.
Right, right. And one more thing I wanted to ask you too, Byron. What are your thoughts on ritual baths?
Oh, salt baths and stuff, ritual baths. Yeah, that's legit, man. I think everyone should do it. Absolutely. That meditation that I was talking about on that interview with El the Alchemist, you can do that meditation and charge a bath. I like to use like 50/50 Dead Sea salt and Epsom salt for it. But yeah, dude, I mean, salt baths, ritual baths. So what I'll do is like I'll get the salt in there, and I'll stir it clockwise at a slow and steady pace. And at first, I'll just be charging the water, and then I'll go through each of the divine names of God as I'm doing it, and just filling it up with a white golden light. And then I'll call on the angel and the element, and use the color associated with that element, like yellow for air, and then call on the elemental spirits, and then go through each of the elements, just like in that meditation. And then after that, I'll probably go through and just kind of fill it back up with the white golden light, hop in, start washing off all that negative energy, and then, take like a cup or a bucket or something and wash off my head. And as I'm washing it off, I mean, really feel that all that gunk and all that slime and, stuff from working and whatever, just being out in public, just wash all that negativity off you. And then after you do that a few times and you get all the negative energy off you, start taking a slow, deep breath and feel like this, like really thick white golden light come through, and have it fill up your whole body. Like, do it nice and slow, almost like you're taking like a really slow bong rip, and the whole bong is filling it with like that bone marrow, just thick
Milking
smoke.
it up. Right?
Yeah, just do that with the white golden light through your whole body, and then fill it all the way up, strengthen your aura, and then when you drain the bathtub, really, I'll sit in there for a few minutes as it's draining, and I'll use that drain as a siphon that's pulling out the rest of the negativity. And as it's pulling it out, it's filling up the rest of my body with that white golden light that I'm breathing in nice and slow. And oh yeah, man, that's something you got to do, man. I think Sunday is a good day to do a salt bath like that. But I mean, if you do something like that once a month, once a week, once a month, I mean, it's going to be pretty hard for a curse to stick to you.
Pretty potent.
Yeah, it works. It's legit, But the important thing is to make sure you're doing it. Like, don't just kind of half-ass visualize it. You really got to make sure you're getting that gunk off you, getting it out of you, filling your body up with this purifying white golden light, like basically like the light of God, the light of the Creator.
Really feeling that.
Yeah, so.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's so another thing that I would do too is so like I said, I would do the 50/50 Dead Sea salt and Epsom salt, do like a quarter cup each. But sometimes I would make a cinnamon tea. I'll get some like cinnamon sticks, and I like the kind from like the Mexican aisle that's like a light brown and it's filled in like a cigar.
Uh-huh.
And so I'll boil that into a tea, and I'll use that in my salt bath too, because that will also help with
prosperity.
Yeah, prosperity and good luck and good fortune after that. That's great. Yeah.
You got me wanting to take a bath, dude.
Yeah. And that particular type of cinnamon, if you make a tea with it, it tastes really good to drink as a beverage. I would throw it in my smoothies when I would make smoothies. It's great. It's amazing.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, reason I ask is because I was planning on taking a little bath tonight too. I'm not a bath kind of guy, to be honest with you, but it is nice from time to time, especially if you got the Epsom salt. And I just got this bag that I've been seeing a lot of people talk about. It's called Ancient Minerals. It's a certain type of Epsom. I can't remember where it comes from or whatever, but give it a shot.
Is it magnesium flakes maybe?
Yes, that's what it is.
Okay, yeah, that'll work. And like, if you only have like regular table salt, just use that because it's going to hold a charge. Like even like the crappy table salt, which I don't use at all for anything. I don't even cook with that stuff, but you get what I'm saying. Like, just use what you have. If that's what you have, if you need to take a salt bath immediately, just take a salt bath immediately.
Hell
So
yeah.
because the important thing is, like, that salt's going to hold a charge. It's going to hold all that white light in and all that intention in, so it washes off you. So, but if you can, get some Dead Sea salt, some Epsom salt, whatever. Another great salt that I love to use, but I mostly use it for like cooking and other stuff, is a Leahy salt, because it comes from like a volcano in Hawaii. Amazing salt. I love that stuff.
Oh, wow. I heard a lot of people are using Celtic salt a lot more now, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes
I know
sense.
Nick was telling us about that.
Yeah,
Right.
and just regular kosher salt is really cheap, and it doesn't have all the same crap in it the table salt has. That stuff will work great.
Okay. All right. Well, I think what we're going to do is get to the meditation. But first, Sean,
Oh yeah, dude.
do we have that card?
Actually, we got two cards, man. We got the Queen of Wands and the King of Swords. So they popped out together.
The
So,
Queen
like I said,
and
we
the
don't
King.
question these things. Yeah.
So the Queen of Wands, we'll read that one first. If I can find it. Queen of Wands. Okay. Here we go. Oh my God, the pages are sticking. All right, Queen of Wands. Feminine energy of intuitive creativity and emotional intelligence combined with passion and heart-centered action are held within the Queen of Wands. In tarot, queens represent feminine energy that includes receptivity, creativity, nurturing, and love. The addition of the fire element combined with intuitive water gives this queen action-driven capabilities for giving as well as receiving. The Queen of Wands is seated facing the viewer, displaying confidence rather than passivity. Her gaze is to the left, the direction of intuition, symbolic of her connection to water and feminine energy. This powerful combination is much like that of the magician, who channels the divine to manifest his reality, and the Queen of Wands has been historically referred to as the Witch of the Tarot. Oh, let's go.
Love it.
Dude, it's talking about the water too. We were just talking about the ritual bath, and
Salt
then
bath, dude.
dude, the Knight of Witches, and this is the queen or the witch of the tarot. How crazy. And it refers to her ability to manifest and is not connected to a specific religion. Holy shit, this
go.
is the perfect card for tonight, dude. That is crazy.
I'm telling you, it popped right out, man.
The black cat by her side, known as the witch's familiar, echoes this aptly given nickname. All right, dude, I've been seeing like this one random black cat in my apartment complex every time I walk outside, and it's always just staring at me. Like, it is kind of like real eerie, but I mean, I look at black cats as good luck personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently they are good luck. Apparently that's like one of those things that kind of got reversed, like inverted. Yeah, inverted.
Of course.
Yeah, for sure. So the spiritual meaning behind it says, focus on cultivating your intuitive powers within your spiritual practice and manifesting your dreams into reality. This may mean spending time in nature to rejuvenate your energy and spirit before returning to your responsibilities. Take initiative to work on healing any blocks to your self-esteem and sense of self-worth. You are becoming more confident, which will lead to immense personal growth and improved relationships.
Yeah.
Okay. Queen of Wands, dude.
Focus on the healing and removing the slime and the salt bath.
Yeah.
Come on now.
So, tonight's a good, like I said, the moon's in its early waxing phase. That's a good time to get started doing something positive for your life and setting an intention. It's also a bunch of planets just went direct. We had some pretty malefic and adversarial planetary energies just a few weeks ago. So,
Oh, right.
yeah. So now's a good time, guys. If you're listening to this, do some work.
I knew there was something going on. It was like, I don't know, a few nights ago, I woke up at like 2:30 in the morning with like the worst headache, just like out of nowhere. And I usually, once I fall asleep, I don't wake up in the middle of the night for the most part. And I woke up with the worst headache. So that's probably what it was.
Dude, you know that you can actually program, for anybody that has an AI, I use ChatGPT, but you can actually program your ChatGPT and tell it like all the astrological things that you need, like your birthday and where you were born and time and all that stuff, and it will give you a reading every day. You just say, hey, what's my astrology reading for today? Every day, it'll do it for you, like specifically what you would need.
All right. I got to get on this ChatGPT thing.
Yeah, I got to try
I don't
that
know what
out,
I'm
see how
waiting
well it
for.
is.
It's like,
Dude, it's my favorite app that has ever been created. Like, I don't think that up to this point, no other app even touches it. As far as just pure information, it is crazy. It's literally, I look at it honestly as like the Akashic records almost on some real shit.
Akashic records of the physical.
Right, the Akashic records, the Library of Alexandria, whatever you want to call it, like it's some next level shit.
Records. Yeah.
So the next card was King of Swords.
King of Swords.
King of Swords.
Swords, as they say.
Authoritative masculine energy of taking action from a place of logic and reason are upheld within the King of Swords. Masters of their suit, kings represent stability, authority, and healthy masculine energy. The King of Swords represents the elements of fire and air, empowering him to take action from the higher mind and intellect. The king is seated on a concrete throne carved with butterflies, symbolic of the element of air, as well as the transformative process of fire. The sword he holds is slightly tilted, suggesting movement and readiness to take action at a moment's notice. And the spiritual message says, have the confidence to be the authority of your life by taking action on your own behalf or standing up for your ideas. If you feel yourself faltering, seek out the advice of a professional about your health or other domestic situations. That's interesting that you get the masculine energy and the feminine energy.
It's a balance, dude. And the transformative properties of fire, too. That was an interesting point there with, because we're going to be burning the sigil or, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And you were just talking about the athame. There's the sword.
Yeah, dude.
Pretty crazy. So you had fire and air and
they're both masculine elements. Water and earth are the feminine.
Oh, right.
Right. So you had this is interesting. So the key elements on both of them. So for the Queen of Wands, you have water and fire. Right. And for the King of Swords would be fire and air. So fire is the main constant there. Perfect for a night like tonight.
Yep. Dude, I'm sold.
I dig it.
Magic going on.
I dig it. We're definitely going to be getting into a little bit of that tonight. So, yeah, let's see. Just get back to the chat here before we wrap it up. The White Boy Wizard said, much love and hello, motherfuckers.
What up, my dude?
Pete said, this live is fire. Yeah, it is, dude. Anytime we get Lord Byron on, it's always just the most.
Fire again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How about that? And then Kara said, this tarot pull is blowing my damn mind. Such a good live. Thanks, Kara.
Gets us every time.
Does anyone have any questions before we wrap it up? Anyone in the chat,
Or just
that might be a good thing to ask.
Yourself.
Well, I guess the main question would be, Byron, because you have stated that you have helped your work people out before with a couple of wishes and spells on a night like this. I mean, why not
you
ask
guys
the
were
wizard?
supposed to tell me in advance so I could program some candles for you.
Oh, damn it, Sean.
Those are bad. I dropped the ball, man. I'll take the blame.
I could probably still do something. What are we doing? What do we want? What's going on?
All right.
Jonathan needs an RV with a bathtub, I think.
Actually, I just want to be able to find an RV that isn't going to fucking break me price-wise, because I've been looking and I went to go look at a dealer the other day and it is sweet and there's no miles on it and everything is pristine and brand new. You're still talking 80 grand. And that's one of the cheaper ones. So I would rather, literally the idea behind getting into an RV is to live cheaper. You know what I'm saying? But with $80,000, it's going to be like a $1,200 a month note on that bad boy.
It might be a good idea to get one of those, the towing campers, and then just get a nice pickup truck.
Oh,
yeah, I thought about that.
Because then you could park the RV and then go drive into town and get some supplies and
like a fifth wheel, right?
Yeah. I thought about that. I don't really feel comfortable with pulling. I'm one of those guys. I don't trust myself with that. And also, my kids are going to be there, and so I would like for them to be able to hang out, watch TV while we're on these long road trips, going back and forth from Louisiana to Texas and stuff like that. So I like the C-class ones where it's the actual motorhome kind of thing. Yeah, I think that sounds just like a dream to me. But yeah, if I could somehow get the perfect one at the perfect time, that would be my wish tonight.
Right now, people are concerned about the economy, and a lot of people, RVs are one of those things, almost like boats, where people have them and they're not sure what they're going to do with them. I bet if you just low bid a bunch of RVs, you might get lucky. You're probably gonna get a lot of people to tell you to F off, you know. But
Right.
but if you just low bid, I guarantee eventually you'll get a good one for a good price.
Put enough bids out there, dude.
Yeah.
You get one.
Just bid 50%, and then if they say no or they don't reply, just maybe reply like, "Hey, like, what wasn't good about my bid, my offer? What would you prefer?" You know, you could work with
Get the
people.
conversation going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But if you just-
I would like to find like maybe an elderly couple that hadn't put, you know, a whole lot of miles on it, you know, kept it covered and kept it in decent shape. You know, the old people, they keep their shit in good
yeah.
shape for the
Yeah.
most part.
Like the old
Totally.
lady from Joe Dirt. She's like, just give me what you got in your pocket. You know? That's what you need to find.
Right, right. So, yeah, that's definitely top of the mind for tonight for me. What about you, Sean?
Hell yeah. Well, I got some news, and I won't get too deep into, you know, as far as names or anything like that, but I got some news about somebody in my family that is going through some health things, and so maybe something regarding that, maybe of healing for that person.
All right, hit me up on Instagram about that.
All right, sounds
Yeah, maybe send me a picture so I can print it out and do a healing.
cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
You're the
Okay.
man.
Yeah. All right. Well, anybody else have any kind of questions, feel free to unmute yourself or write it in the chat, you know, if you feel like it. Otherwise, you're free to do your own kind of spell work tonight. I definitely still plan on doing it as well. And just to, you know, sprinkle it in, even my own little magic on top of this. So yeah, dude. But all right, well, I guess what we can do now is it's probably meditation time. And Byron, unless you have an idea, I was able to find Walpurgisnacht meditation, as a matter of
Oh,
fact.
let's do it. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, so we're going to get into that. And by the way, anybody that is listening to this the next day or a couple of days after, and you want to be able to listen to the meditations, we cannot put them on the podcast platforms or on YouTube anymore. So that is only going to be on Patreon. So if you're on Patreon, you'll be able to sit there and meditate with us. Remember, time ain't nothing. So it doesn't matter if you're doing it tonight, tomorrow night, a year from now, you are connecting to the energy of everybody that is meditating on it, and it is almost imprinting their own energy whenever you go and listen to it the next day. That's what I believe. So yeah,
I love when you say stuff like that, dude. Just gets me. Gets
So-
me feeling nice.
if you're feeling nice, yeah, go and check it out. It's patreon.com/metamysteries. It's also the best way to be able to support us. So we appreciate all of the one that has been doing so already. But with that being said, let's get to the meditation. And Byron, did you want to tell everybody where they can find you if this is their first time listening to you, sir?
Yeah. You know, I just want to say real quick, I think you guys might have the best spiritual podcast on the internet, man.
I like to think so.
That means
You
a lot
know?
coming from you.
Yeah, like I don't think I've I don't know, man. I think you guys might have the best one, man. But
Thank you.
anyway, I'm not trying to put anyone else down though, you know.
Of course. Of course.
Oh, of course.
No, we appreciate it.
But yeah, so my main YouTube channel is My Apotheosis, and actually says My Apotheosis with Lord Byron Jester, because now everyone knows me as Lord Byron Jester, not My Apotheosis, you know. So
yeah.
had to put that in there. And then Instagram, Lord Byron Jester, all lowercase, all one word, Lord Byron Jester. You guys will have the links down below, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Byron, and we'll see you on the other side of the meditation. But for those of you who are not going to be joining us in this meditation, then this is where we leave you. And what we like to say is if Lord Byron Jester came here and he taught you anything, it's that you don't know what you don't know. So don't just get weird.
Stay weird.
Open doors inside your mind. Leave the ordinary far behind. Colors swirl and stars align. In the meta mysteries you'll find.
All right, for those of us that are joining us here on this meditation on this fateful night of Walpurgisnacht, this is going, no, it's not fateful, it's just going to be awesome. So yeah, this is going to be a great meditation, especially if you plan on performing any kind of ritual or anything like that on a night like tonight. If you're listening to it the next day or a couple of days from now, that's still totally fine. It's not just for this night. It's just, you know, it's just a ritual kind of meditation. So This is going to be the first of its kind that we've ever looked into. And it's by Rogar Drums on YouTube. So let's check it out. We're going to do like maybe 10, 11, 12 minutes, something like that, like we normally do. And we'll check back in. So until then, we'll see you on the other side. So we're going to start it here in 3, 2, 1. Let go.
Whoa.
That guy made some pretty good ritual music, man.
That was really good, huh?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
What did it do for you guys? Where'd you go?
Well, at first, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of difficult getting into a meditation at first for me anyway, because you're usually more used to like calmer kind of sounds and not like a fucking drum banging in your head. But after a while, I was like, all right, it's going to happen. Just be patient. I'll get there. We always do, where there's never not a time where we just nothing happens. Like something always happens. So I just reassured myself of that. And then after a while, I started getting like some visuals, dude, to where I just imagined that there was this open field and, trees surrounding everywhere, but it was basically this open field where a bunch of people were out there and everybody was wearing like these black hooded kind of, like a wizard cloak rather kind of situation. And there was one, like a large bonfire, and right above the bonfire was this gargantuan size, massive full moon. And it was just like a ritualistic ceremony. And dude, what's crazy is that usually meditations like that, I'm the one that sets the ball rolling as far as what I'm going to see. Maybe I'll have an intention about what I'm going to see. Yep. I wasn't even sure if I was deep enough in meditation to even be sensing anything like that in the first place. And I was already seeing it. So there's something to that for sure. Cause I wasn't even included in it. Like I'm viewing that from afar almost.
Yeah. Like it was a real place.
Like it felt
music took you to.
Dude, it felt so real. Yeah, like what I was looking at was like beyond imagination. Yeah. I don't know. That was really fucking cool though.
It goes with what you always say, that music can be its own place or its own frequency, and it can literally take you to that real space.
100%. Yeah, there's definitely certain music out there that is, you might not see the same exact thing every time, or the next person, the person next to you might not see exactly what you're seeing, but it's going to reminisce. It's going to rhyme together a little bit, I think. But yeah, I mean, what was your experience there, Sean?
Well, before I can get the chatterbrain to kind of just stop, like you said, it took me a little bit to get there, but I was listening to the drum, that main bass drum, and it kind of was reminding me of that mushroom trip that we had, where I saw visuals of like these little entities. I'm not really sure exactly even what they looked like now, but they were all like banging on something, and it was just like that, and it was just over and over, and they were going in like a circle, and it was just like, it wasn't even like they had a choice. It was just this thing that they had to do because it just is, and so to me, it just sounded like almost like the heartbeat of like existence itself, like it was just it's gonna beat no matter what, like after we're long and gone, and maybe we go somewhere else, I don't know, but that heartbeat of existence itself is going to continue to just beat. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I was thinking about. And then once I got through that, then I was thinking about my family member. And so I was trying to like visualize myself or my energy body going over to where he is, and just trying to pull out any of the slime or any of the negative things or the illness, and just trying to pull that out and trying to, put some type of healing, and then after that, I actually kind of visualized like going up out of where he is and then like flying all the way back here, and it's like another state away, and so it was like really fast, and visualized that coming back into my own body, my consciousness or my energy body, and that's kind of what I did. It's kind of interesting, that music, man.
Amazing.
Very, very ceremonial, very ritualistic.
Yeah. Amazing what can happen in 10 minutes if you just shut up and sit there for a little while and just observe your breath and take a gander at some of the thoughts that will come through, some of the visions that'll come through. Like 10 minutes, that's all that took.
And that music was powerful in the sense that it made me feel like somebody that could actually do that. You know what I mean? Like it separated who I think I am, you know, and got to the deeper core of what I am, being something that can travel, you know, a state away within a second or two and try to heal somebody and come back. You know, like it just put me in like that vibe.
Oh yeah, a little astral travel kind of situation.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and I felt the interesting thing is that I felt like I can really see, and like I was visualizing like moving throughout the body and trying to heal like each little part of it and like kind of going around and like I was floating. You know, not that I had a body, but I was just kind of like
There,
awareness. You know,
That's the good shit right there.
distance healing, man, it's a lot easier than people think it is, and once you get good at it, you get so much better at astral projection. Like once you start learning how to focus on your goal instead of leaving your body, because once you start focusing on the target, you just naturally leave your body.
yeah, and it definitely felt effortless. Like I didn't have to try to visualize it; it just was just happening. You know, and I
Yeah.
was just kind of observing and letting it happen.
That's whenever
that
it's
makes
fun,
sense.
is whenever it's like it comes with ease like that.
Yeah.
And it almost makes it seem like a little bit more familiar, like you'd done it before, because
Yeah.
how else would it be easy like that?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, and the flying back and coming back into my body. You know, it just felt like I was actually doing that. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
It's hard to explain, man.
Byron, what happened, sir? I mean, was this a tune up for what's to come tonight?
Yeah, totally. And I was kind of focusing on that, but I started like slipping out, leaving my body like toward the end there.
Dude,
Oh, shit.
right.
It was definitely good ritual music. That guy did a good job.
Yeah. Shout out. That was a great meditation. I really like that. We come across a lot of really good ones over the past couple of years now, and
Yeah.
we always say that we're going to go back to some, but there's just so many ones that we will never get to. And I mean, I love some of the older ones as well. Like, trust me, I do want to go back and touch up on some of the definitely some of the guided meditations.
Yep.
And some of the do kind of meditations.
We're gonna have to hit
Those
one
are
of those
fun.
again. Oh yeah,
Those
Oh,
are
yeah.
definitely
Talk about
fun.
the lightheartedness of when you're practicing your magic and having that laugh afterwards. That's kind of the same vibe as those taking you out of the grind of everyday stress and kind of just being silly with it. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of magic in that.
Well, that's the light codes type meditations.
Yeah.
Where they're sending like little light codes with the do. Yeah, super cool. But all right. Well, I mean, look, we learned how to perform our rituals tonight. Everybody can create their own way as long as you do it with intention. You do it with, you know, that it's going to work kind of situation. You're not any less powerful than anybody else. That you're made of the same thing that everybody and everything is made up of. You come from the same place. You're going back to the same place, wherever that may be, whatever kind of name you want to put on that. Just say, you're coming from home and you're going to be going back home, because that's really what it is. But connect to that source of whatever home is.
That's it. That's it. And, you know, as far as
and-
tonight goes, sorry to cut you off, Byron. As
That's
far
fine.
as tonight goes, if you don't want to go through all the extra steps, if you're still new with this kind of thing, at the very least, write it down and just say it out loud. I think
Yeah,
that's
just
a
do
good
that.
start. Keep it simple.
And you know, if you're going to make a sigil, or if you're going to do like an actual ritual or a spell or whatever, like really focus on like it already existing, you know, and the gratitude of it existing. Like really focus on that emotion of gratitude. Like, man, that's so awesome. I have this, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
and just let go. Oh, I was going to tell you guys, I'm glad I remembered. I think it was last night. I was going to sleep and I heard this voice. And I know it's kind of weird to say, but I literally felt like I heard a voice that it wasn't my own. And it was just let go. Like, it was like not evil. It didn't sound scary, but it was like totally not my voice saying let go. And it was almost like not yelling, but like assertive.
What did you need to let go of? What do you think it was?
I'm trying to figure it out, dude. I don't know. It just happened, you know, but I don't know. It's interesting. So,
Well, 3, 2, 1, let go. You know, we say it every
it.
episode.
that's it. There's something I need to let go. So I'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Well, Byron, this was a fun episode, dude. We're definitely going to be having you back on. You've come on more than any other guest that we've had, and we're going to keep it that way because you're the fucking man, dude.
We like it. We like it.
All right. So, yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up right there. And anybody, like I said, anybody that wants to be able to join in on the next Wonder Wiz Day, you come check out patreon.com/Meta Mysteries and sign up for the Wonder Wiz Day tier or higher. You'll be able to have access to be able to join us every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central. We usually go for a couple hours, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. We'll see how crazy it gets. But I'm actually kind of on edge. Oh, it's 11:11. I'm on edge right now, or else I would want to extend this, but I just want to get out there, start doing the ritual bath, start making the sigils, start getting real weird out under the moon, and just see what happens, dude. Byron's been talking about this holiday for the longest time, so I'm excited to really, see what happens. But yeah, I guess that's where we'll leave everybody, and we'll see y'all on the flip side.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
Voices drift on winds untamed, words like spells that can't